talking too much because I finally went back and watched one of the VODs on Twitch, and it like cuts off a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna give it like a few seconds, and then here we go. Hi, I'm EnviroBoy. This is my channel, and today we're gonna try. So I'm trying, always trying to grow, always trying new things. I don't know. We're trying a different schedule, which is actually based more so around my needs for my day job. Which, as I've lamented about, the schedule is, well, you know, no one really knows. You know, it's a weird, bizarro schedule as we're all trying to figure out who goes back to the office for different things, who stays remote, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I am coordinating for a D&D session tonight, so I may occasionally be distracted. Alright, but yeah, so we're trying new schedules, and I'm hoping what I can do is, as a baseline, have 4 hours of streaming, roughly, on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. No streaming on Wednesdays, and then also, time allowing, schedule allowing, do some streaming on Saturdays as well. That's kind of the attempted schedule that I'm working on here. We'll see how well we'll see if that sticks. We'll see how well that works. A lot of stuff is up in the air for me right now, so I'm just kind of doing my best to play it by ear and just go with the flow on everything. Is sort of the name of the game right now. So, at any rate, here we are. If anyone pays attention to the channel, you'll see that I tried to put a schedule, and I tried to insist that it would start at 11:30 today. It is 11:55, so good job, me. It didn't work out, but we're going to do some writing, so let's go ahead and get to it here. So here's our schedule. Not our schedule. Here's our world. You know what? I kind of want to look at the world. It's been a few sessions since we've gotten a good look at our world here, so I'm gonna open it up. It's not really our world, it's just the region of the world that we're working on. So this is what we're working with here, this bad boy right here, and we're working on trying to get our random tables situated for it, because I explain it every time, but I figure it's helpful to explain it for anyone who's jumping in. You know, now that we're kind of getting into the project a little bit, we're definitely not really at the first, we're far from the first stream for this project. So just to sort of clarify and make it clear what's, what the purpose of everything is for anyone who's kind of diving in here. The random tables are good to establish early, I find, because in the process of just trying to think about what sort of encounters people would... Hold on, I'm trying to look at my mic here. I'm trying to not like overshoot my volume levels here, because I'm also trying something different with how I hold my mic in my headset, because the fact is I use my in-ears for my audio because my PC doesn't have a good audio driver, and so these big cans just sound like garbage, and I just didn't feel like wearing the big cans, but this is the best mic I've got at the moment. Everything's just a cluster around here, man. If you haven't figured it out, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing for my stream. It's all just a hodgepodge of randomized bullshit that I try and figure out bit by bit. So if at any time, I don't know if anyone's logged in yet or gotten into the audience yet, but if you are here at this point, then at any time if my volumes are off, just let me know and I'll adjust it. We're just giving this a shot for today and see if it works out. No, I think that's too quiet. I'm just trying to judge based on the levels, based on where my voice usually falls on the volume ranges on my equalizer here. I think that's about right. I don't know. We'll figure it out. No, I don't want this. Go away. Yeah, so we're working on getting our random tables for this region figured out. It's an important thing because using, like, the process of filling out the random tables is a really good way to just sort of get in tune with what exists in your world. For this one, it's like what exists within this region of the world. It's really important to sort of, once we start diving into writing all of the storylines and everything like that, once we start really kind of getting into that nitty-gritty stuff, it's really helpful to sort of have an understanding of what's in this world, what types of magic stuff, if there's any particular theme exists there, what the theme of like the monsters and enemies that people are going to interact with are, because then as you're adding this more detailed, nuanced stuff, you can make sure it stays thematically appropriate, so that way your players don't feel kind of ripped from one world to the next when they switch from traveling to actually being at a location that they're heading towards. So it tends to be a tedious process going through and working out all these random tables constantly, but it's an important and valuable one, and so that's why we're taking the time to do it. You know, like for example, we've already kind of learned through the process of doing that for this one. Excuse me, I burped. That was rude of me. We've already kind of figured out, or at least I have figured out, that I want there to be distinctions between being like traveling through the mountains, like over top of the mountains, or traveling inside the mountains in like carved out dwarven lands and whatnot. Like I want there to be clear distinctions between those. So for our random tables, that sort of helped us figure out that we need to add another set of random tables, namely separate mountains from, like, basically Underdark is kind of what the you know, the official lore theme we're going to go with for the underground stuff, for when they travel within the abandoned dwarven cities that are now, I guess abandoned isn't quite the right word, they're now overrun with Duergar, is kind of what we're going to go with. So it's an important distinction to have sort of figured out and ironed out, and it's something that I hadn't thought of until starting to do the random tables, when it occurred to me that thematically those are different things. You know, and so if I had just been filling out missions and stuff like that, I could have filled out the entire missions without really thinking about the thematic difference between those two things, and then found myself kind of trapped in a corner like, oh shoot, you know, I've overrepresented on top of the mountains and really didn't think about what's going on underneath them, and now I'm displeased with the balance of things within this world. So that's where the random tables are really helpful. They're kind of their own thing, you know. They're not, I don't know, that's a dumb way to say it. The random tables, they're a really helpful thing for understanding the world, and they really just kind of paint plainly what the theme and the environment are going to be, which is important because that's so pervasive throughout everything else you do, right? That's what sets the tone for the whole campaign, right? And even if you have varying tones based on location, you need to understand that too. You don't want to be sitting there trying to have some regions be like more of a horror theme, while other themes are more of like a high fantasy adventure theme. You want to keep those regions separate, so that players have kind of an understanding of like, oh, this is the environment I'm in right now, we should expect these types of things. It's like it's kind of subconscious, but it helps them feel like they belong and they understand what's happening in the world. You want them to feel like a cohesive part of the world, not just like some stranger who doesn't understand what's happening. You know, they're the heroes. They're supposed to understand exactly what's going on. So that's what we're trying to set up. We're trying to set up a system where they can feel like they have that control, that autonomy and understanding of their world. So at any rate, I guess I can stop babbling about it quite so much, and let's actually work on it. So we finished up last time our mountains table. So we've got our plains day and night and our mountains day and night. So now what we want to work on is, let's go ahead and do, what I want to work on is I want to get that Underdark, that under the mountains type of system and setting going here. So we're going to copy this and just paste a blank version there, so that way when we fill this one up, we still have our template to use in the next set. And just because I'm lazy and I don't want to try and remember what the formatting parameters were for, I'm just going to copy and paste it, and I'm going to say, I'm going to call it Underdark. It's not really Underdark. I don't know. I've never really taken the time to make the distinction of whether or not like official Underdark has a place in my world. I don't know. I kind of consider Underdark and Underground to just be like 100% the same thing, even though the D&D lore Underdark is kind of a separate thing from just like a straight up underground tunnel. But I don't know. I think it's largely arbitrary, especially in my world where I'm just not really focused on that. It's just like, yeah, so Underground. But we're gonna call it Underdark just so that way it's a better trigger for, what to expect in terms of stuff we're gonna encounter. So, the first thing that we got to do is we got to come up with all of our random monster encounters. I always have, so the table's set up here, just, we're starting a new table, so it's a good time to just sort of re-explain it for anyone who's kind of folding into this project later on in its lifespan here. It's still early in the lifespan of this entire project, but it's kind of later on in terms of how many streams we've done. But I have random tables sets for, we've got level 1. Hey Omega, how's it going? We've got our levels 1 through 10 here. That's meant to sort of signify what's the average level of the party, just to make sure that like challenge ratings are kind of moving with them. And we go up to level 10 for this one because this campaign is going to be intended for players levels 1 through 10 is sort of the idea. If players do everything, they'll be well above level 10 by the time they get to it. But by organizing it this way and setting up it this way, they can kind of, because there's going to be a few different story threads that exist in this world, in this campaign, with the intention of players being able to go after what they're interested in and sort of ignore the rest, and still being able to get a full campaign out of it is sort of the intention of it. So that's what the levels are all about. And then the 1 through 20, the idea is every day of travel, you have one player roll a d20, and that's what they end up with. And so based on how I fill out the tables is based on what probabilities I like to see in the game for things that happen, and I like there to be about a 50% chance that they're going to end up in combat when they're traveling. The world that I'm designing is a very dangerous one. It's one that is it's sort of like a D&D version of post-apocalyptic. So most cities are empty, shelled out, and instead have become sort of safe havens for wild, twisted, like magically twisted monstrosities and stuff like that. So that's just, that's where that percentage comes from. It's a pretty dangerous world. They're quite likely to cross paths with dangerous things when they're not in one of the few protected, guarded cities that exist in this world. So that's what we're going to start off working on. I don't know. We'll see if we get through all of it or not. I don't know. Tsuki the Dwagon, hey, how's it going? Glad to see you here. Welcome. We're working on some random encounter tables for the world, as I've sort of been chatting about here. And we're going to start off with, so we've already gotten a couple tables here. We're starting to work with our sort of like our Underdark region of this world. And so we're going to make our sort of potential combat encounters. Why OneNote? I use OneNote because for me it organizes the best. You can see over here I've still got the menus open. So this is my world here. I keep it all in one notebook. We largely work with the Atlas. That's where most of just like the functional information goes. But I have little like mini sort of tabs for all kinds of different things. The Pantheon, the history, the races, foes and friends, factions, magic, artifacts. And so this way everything that I make that goes within this world has a place to belong. And that way it's all in one screen. So that way when I'm running a session, I can just pull up whatever I need. I can just pull it up. It's all right there. So like, and then within the Atlas, so we've got, I've got a big world map. I don't have it pulled open right now, but a big world map that's got its own little hex grid. So that way we can have, that's where our C6, P7, Q5, those are the regions that correspond with the hexes on the map. So that way I can just sort of narrow it down to go into it. We're working on a new project, so I don't have a lot going on in this one right now, but like in this one that has a lot of stuff in it, we can minimize it there, and so then we've got far more tabs, and it all just breaks down and makes it like the easiest to try and figure it out. Template notebook that you could use, that has been requested by a few different people from me, and I will figure out how to do it soon. the big challenge for me recently has been setting up a Discord server, which is now up. You can find a link on my channel if you're interested in it. I figure it's there, so if people want to be able to discuss homebrew and stuff like that, it can be there. And eventually, I will have a link. I think I'm probably going to try and just find like a Dropbox system or something where I can put like a series, like a list of all my templates and stuff that I use, because I actually do use a lot of templates. Firefox. That's my choice. I love Firefox. Some things I have to use Chrome for, but for the most part, I use Firefox when I can. But yeah, so I am intending to eventually put up the template notebooks, but I have not gotten myself organized to do that yet. Stay tuned. And I will provide that. I do intend to at some point in time. And that's actually what this project is meant to be, this whole world that I'm working on. This region, I'm intending to, once this whole campaign within this region that we're working on, within this map area that I've made, once this is done, my intent is to just like provide that for people. So if they want to use sort of like a homebrew campaign that also has, the VODs, because I upload the VODs to YouTube, and then there's the Discord channel. So if they want like a full campaign that they can ask the creator, what do you mean by this? Why did you make it this way? Things like that, so they can use it as sort of like a template for learning how to make their own homebrew. It's there. It's a resource for people. So that's kind of what the spirit of this whole project is. So stay tuned for that stuff. You're starting your first campaign. You're saying you're gonna be the DM for the campaign then. I'm assuming. That's awesome. The world always needs more DMs. Take it from a forever DM like myself. The more DMs that are available, the better. So that way I can actually get the chance to play. You're doing Descent. Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be a good one. I hope you're excited about it. I love being the DM, but for me it's because I love world building. I started world building before I started DMing. So, like, being a DM just kind of fell into that just because I love creating worlds. And so, like, being a DM is basically just slapping on some stats and random tables to the stuff that I make, and then bada bing, bada boom, you've got a campaign. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hopefully everything goes well for you guys. Let's see here. So we want to work on filling out and getting some monster encounters here. So I use the two tools I use when I'm trying to do that. I use Kobold Fight Club for trying to find balanced, for trying to create balanced encounters. It does all the work for me, and I'm not sitting here. I say it all the time. I'm not interested in reinventing the wheel. If there are tools that are available to help me fill out the campaign that I'm working on at any given time, I'll freaking use those. Are you kidding me? It takes enough energy and creativity to just sort of create an environment from scratch. So if I don't have to sit there and do the excessive math to find a balanced encounter, then I'm not gonna do that. So the link is up here if you can see it there. If you just do kobold.club, it should take you there. But if you just Google Kobold Fight Club, it's the first one that'll come up. And you just look for this. And it's super wonderful. It's super handy. I love having this tool. It's one of my favorite tools. Because you can put in here, I guess I can give a quick rundown of how it works. This isn't my tool. Some other absolute guardian angel for all of us, DMs created this. I don't even know who it would have been. Yeah, we can go to About, and you can see the information there for the person who did it. But yeah, they created this tool, and it kind of does the work for you. You just plug in how many players you've got, what their levels are, and you can add multiples. So if you've got like 3 level 1 players and 3 level 1 players and 2 that are level 2, you can do that, and it'll help you balance. So it does all of that. But when I'm sort of preemptively doing something like I'm doing right now, I plan all of my sessions to be for 5 players of the same level. So that way it just kind of creates a baseline average. Because you can't plan for every single combination of everything. So if you just have like 5 players at level 1, then it's just kind of assumed that like the average level is 1 for them. So even if they fluctuate a little bit, it'll be pretty close. And as the DM, one of the beautiful things as the DM is you can just kind of fudge rolls as long as you guys aren't doing like a hardcore strictly follow the rules game. You just kind of fudge things. So you can add or take away monsters as reinforcements and stuff like that to keep things at the proper challenge level for your players. And my personal philosophy is that I'm never ashamed to do that, because my job as the DM is to provide a fun experience for players, not to be a rules Nazi. There's always one player that's the rules Nazi, and it's their job to keep us all in check if we get too loosey-goosey with the rules. But I'm always willing to fudge things and just sort of play fast and loose with the rules, because it's about creating a fun experience for me and my friends. It's not about trying to accomplish anything else in particular. Like there's no governing board that's there to look at all of our stuff. But yeah, exactly. I think that's a fair perspective. The rules are there to make sure that things have a sense of balance there. But as with the nature, especially when you're using Rule of Cool, absolutely. I love Rule of Cool, and I utilize it all the time. There's nothing wrong with making small changes to make sure things stay balanced, especially because the fact is we're working with random numbers for a whole lot of things. So if you have players that are just, they're just having an unlucky day and they're rolling all kinds of nat ones, you don't want them to get a total party kill off of what's meant to be the intro battle of like 5 rats, so it's like you just change things and balance it. And so that's why I just kind of build a baseline balanced system and then modify as needed. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this up this way so we can kind of see, and I'm not bouncing between screens too much. So the way I always do it when I'm making the random tables, rolls a natural 0. Yeah, that's that would be something else. That'd be something else. And if that happened, I feel like if that would happen, you just kind of have to go with it, because no dice should present a 0 for you. They all start at 1 and then go to whatever the highest is. The closest to having a 0 you can have is like on a D100. You can do your percentiles and it'd be zeros, but that defaults to 100. So if you ended up getting a 0 in some way, shape, or form, at that point in time, I feel like fate's telling you it needs to be a failure. It's just, accept your fate. But when I'm doing my random encounters for just day-to-day travel and stuff like that, the way I always do it is first I always think about thematically what I want things to look like. We're working with an Underdark to start, and then even from there I'll nix some of the things that randomly come up here, because with this you can choose what resources things come from. I always do the official ones. And the reason I do that is so that way it's all easy to find on here. It just keeps it easier. What about Nat 21? So Nat 21, you're definitely using a percentile dice. It sounds like you got 21%. That's what I say. But yeah, if a Nat 21 on a D20, then I think it's the same as a natural 0. If then it's just the same thing. You accept your fate, and you've become prescient, and your character has meta knowledge and understands they're part of a game, and that's that. I agree, Omega. I think bats are a good one. The giant bats, that'll be a perfectly good balance. The other thing that I always do for these is just to keep it simple, so we're not spending too much time on any single giant gat. Oh God, just like big giant guns lying on the ground. Giant bat is what we need. I always keep it to a single enemy type and just do a lot of them. So it's just like a herd or a horde of whatever it is. And that's simply for a streamlined situation. So that way I don't have to take hours and hours, setting up the encounter, pulling out whatever various types of tokens and stuff that I need and all that kind of stuff. It's just there so that way I can pull up, okay, we'll just quickly make an encounter that has this number of bats, and because they're number of bats, I always do the same type of enemy goes on one single turn. So again, we can just kind of get through initiative faster, because while I do have these there and I want my players to experience this stuff while traveling, I don't want any travel encounter to encompass the entire session, right? Like a travel encounter is meant to be something that slows down the game so we don't finish a campaign in 3 weeks and they have sort of that sense of distance involved when they're traveling, right? Because I don't want them to just be, it's like, oh, we got to go find the final boss. He's halfway across the world, and then 20 minutes later they're there fighting the big bad. It's like, no, we had travel there, and if they have to travel halfway across the world, it's going to be an epic journey. They're going to encounter things on the way. But I don't want those things to take up too much time, especially not with me just setting it up and not us actually playing. So always one type. Yeah, a bat with a gun. With a bat with a gun for a face. I like that. Just basically a gun with bat wings, right? Just like flying around. That sounds like something out of Saints Row. That's where I'm immediately thinking. Oh, we can do regular bats. So we've got giant bats. Why not regular bats? How many? So yeah. So the other thing that I do, so because we're working on, there's a 50% chance they'll have an encounter. I like to mix up the level of difficulty that it'll have, especially because this system makes it really easy, right? We're doing easy. So there's 1 through 4 is the chance of getting an easy encounter. There's the next 3 of a medium encounter, next 2 of a hard encounter, and there is the chance that they'll encounter a deadly encounter, in which case, it might be in their best interest to just try and run away, right? I like to make my worlds feel like they're a living world that isn't always just tailored to them at their current level. I always like it to be perfectly possible that they get in over their heads and have to escape. So it's not super likely that's going to happen because I do want them to be the heroes of their story, but that's how it is. Hey, how's it going, fanboy? How's it going? We're working on some Underdark tables for our world at this point in time. We did on top of the mountains. Now we're doing underneath the mountains. I did this little hand gesture, but my camera's too zoomed in, so you didn't see it. I just wanted to explain that. It was necessary. I don't know if I want any of these monsters to be there when they're level 1. Ooh, a cranium rat. What does that even look like? Do they have a picture of that? I want to see what the cranium rat looks like. Cranium rat. Let's search it. What is it? Do they have a picture of it? They do. Oh, they're just like, but the tops of their heads cut off. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Hi, kitty. My kitty is gonna come and be an editor. You might see her tail. Yep, there's her tail right there. There's a little girl. She's gonna come in here, probably try and rub against the microphone. So if you hear some scratching that's really loud, I apologize. But she's a cat, so she just kind of gets her way. When I heard cranium rat, though, I thought of brain from Pinky and the Brain, so I'm a little disappointed, but we'll accept this. This is fine. Okay, kitty. All right, honey. No, you don't get to put your butt on the keyboard. That's not allowed. That's one step too far there, cat. So for our cranium rats, what's the Underdark like? Standard underground stuff. So it's kind of both. I'm going with some more, like, I want it to eventually feel very, like, dark, magical stuff, like anything that's displaced from, like, fire planes. So now that's the thing. I do have a decoy keyboard, but she wants the one that my hands are on because that's the one that's got the lights going up, and with my hands there, that's the one that gets warm, so that's the one that she wants to be on. So it doesn't work. I just shove her and she goes over and watches the birds at the window for a little while. So it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, so the Underdark, the underground for mine is really like, it starts off when they're low levels as being like really just like basic underground type of stuff, lots of rats, bats, that kind of stuff. But as their levels increase, things get much more like Lord of the Rings, like fire golems and shit showing up, and it just kind of gets wilder and wilder, kind of meant to mimic the deeper into the mountains they get, the more wacky things will become, because I want it to be, I want the Underdark to be a place where a lot of dark stuff that was displaced into this world from other realms has taken refuge, right? All of the things that might have been displaced from the fire realm, from the Nine Hells, all of that kind of stuff. I want them to sort of utilize the underground as their safe haven, alongside a lot of like Duergar and stuff like that, like twisted. Because in my world, the Duergar were, it's not really even my world. It's kind of a lot of the lores kind of do that. The Duergar were like dwarves that were too close to epicenters of these sort of tears in reality that resulted in them becoming these twisted versions of themselves. And so it's just like a lot of that kind of stuff. So yes, a lot of planar stuff, and I agree it is rad, and I appreciate that I'm not the only person who uses the word rad. I use that word all the time, and half of the people that I say it to look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, mind flayers, things like that are kind of stuff that I want to have around. Let's see, our Boggle. Let me take a look at the Boggle again and see if that's thematically kind of what I want there to be. A lot of, yeah, a boggle's good. A boggle is good. I always, so because like I say, because I come at this from a world building standpoint, I always think of like the visual aesthetic primarily, and then have the stats, like just find things that their stats sort of match that, and do it that way. Just because that's how I like to. I'm a very narrative sort of DM. I like to describe settings and pictures. I like it to be so that if someone closes their eyes and listens to what I say, they can kind of get like a movie set, like kind of going in their mind's eye. Is sort of how I do it. And so I like to make sure that enemies sort of thematically, visually fit in there, and then I sort of kind of come up with lore reasons for why they are there and how they exist. That's just my style. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. In the lore, the Duergar were sort of like twisted dwarves by like the mind flayers and stuff like that. Within my world, because my world is like a homebrew one that I just use D&D stuff for the sake of ease of putting stats to it. Because like I say, it all comes from a world building standpoint, not a D&D standpoint. Is just like how I do things. But it's the same basic idea where it's like twisted magic ended up twisting dwarves into being Duergar. Is sort of where my personal lore comes in. Not advocating for whether that's right or wrong for anyone else's game. That's just how I do it. That's what my world is. I don't know if I have used Dire Corbies before in any of my games. I don't know if I have. I've DM'd for a long time though, so there's a lot of things that I forget about. 100% there. Hold on, let me see here. What was it? Corby? Was it spelled like that? Dire Corby. There they are. There we go. Boom. Oh yeah. I have not used them, but yeah, they're goofy looking things. See now for them. All right. Here we go. We're gonna do it. We're gonna pull up the whole world that I have. We're gonna basically do it. We're gonna pull it up. Oh yeah, no, Suki. I definitely know what mind flayers are. I do appreciate the serious case of the munchies with the brain munchies. I do like that though, and I'm 100% going to steal that. So thank you for that. That's a good mental image. I like that. But we're working right in this hex right here. This is the hex. This is the hex right here. Oh, gotcha, Suki. Yeah, no, sorry. Joke went right over here. Maybe I'll stand up next time and it won't go over my head. My apologies. But this is the region we're working on here. This mountain range, specifically this hex. Here. And so we're working in this area. Looking at the Dire Corbies, within my lore, I have a lot of the Kenku coming up from here, and just aesthetically, because they look like that, I would have the Dire Corbies be like really fucked up versions of the Kenkus. I would have them stemming from the Lost Lands region up here, and so that's what it would be. All right, Suki. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you being here, and hopefully your session goes well. I know you said you got you've got your new group coming up this weekend, so hopefully that goes well. I think you should, hopefully, if you have a mind, should stop by and let us know how it goes next week when I'm streaming. I would definitely love to know how it went and hope everything goes well. So good luck with that. And I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop by. Myself and a lot of the viewers are DMs, and we'll certainly be willing to offer you any advice if you need any. So, but yeah, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. But yeah, so we're working here. But yeah, fanboy, right up here is where I would probably put the Kenkus, and I actually have historically run a campaign within this region here. So I would totally put Corbies there. I haven't used them, but they would be a really good one to add in there. I like that idea. But let's pull these bad boys back up here. We're working on mediums. No, not kobolds. Kobolds I use as like sort of an actual sentient being that you're likely to cross paths with in the cities in my region, so I don't actually like just using them unless they're specifically part of like a bandit group that's made camp in the wilds. I don't like using them as just like random creatures. I like the random encounters to be much more mindless monstrosities. So Okay, alright. Okay, what's the blurb? Let me see. Oh shit, they've got a lot of stuff going on here. Heralded by the ominous deep rumbling of their strange song, great packs of dire corbies range across. What the hell? Jesus, sorry, I heard like some like random squeaking. I looked outside, there's like 2 fucking chipmunks going at it out there. Like going at it as in fighting, not going at it as in like weird sexy times. That would be a little too voyeuristic for my taste, and I wouldn't mention it. But yeah, no, they're oh no, they're done now. Okay. They were having a disagreement. Great packs of dire corbies range across the Underdark, stripping the tunnels and caverns they traverse of all living things. Even the mightiest creatures of the Underdark hide within fortified lairs to step aside from a dire corby flock, knowing how these creatures' bizarre song disrupts, disorients, and ultimately overwhelms their prey. Yeah, so, okay, so if it's talking about them being from the Underdark, probably what I would do for them is I would, in this region up here somewhere, I would probably incorporate like an underground tunnel system for the sake of adding variety, especially to like a hex like this that doesn't have much landscape variety. So for the sake of adding flavor for the players, I would probably throw them in here and have them create sort of like an underground tunneling system that players may or may not interact with, and that's where they would come in. Because, yeah, like I say, the Kenku people, I would do that, and the Corby, it's like talking about flocks and just looking at the visuals of them. They strike me as being a really good fit for, like, twisted, like, fucked up Kenkus. So that's probably what I would do with them. That is a rad concept, though. I'm into it. Fuck, I'm so bad at getting shit done on these streams because you guys all have, like, these cool ideas, and I've let myself get let off tangents. You guys did this to me. This is your guys' fault. It's such a slow project. No, I actually really like, sitting here, chit-chatting with people. Yeah, the Grimlock is a little too big and, yeah, I don't know. That's not quite the aesthetic I'm going for early levels for these guys, so we're gonna hold off on them. Let's find a different set of medium. Male steeder. What the hell is a steeder? I don't actually know off the top of my head what a steeder is. Excuse me, I burped. That was gross. I apologize. It doesn't even give us an image. Hold on. What are they? Spider climb, extraordinary leap, sticky leg. Okay, so they must be some sort of. It gives nothing. Out of the abyss. Yeah, it must be some sort of spider thing. So that's not a terrible idea. Cedar can climb difficult surfaces, extraordinary leap, bite, sticky leg. Yeah, it's got to be a spider type thing. Yeah, I'm with you, fanboy. Grimlocks are, like, they're good for filler, but thematically speaking, they're kind of dull. They're kind of, they feel like just an excuse to add some sort of not quite a Cyclops thing for early levels, is what they sort of strike me as. So if someone thematically wanted there to be, like, you know, trolls from Harry Potter type of creatures. Hey, human robot. That's, oh man, see, now I'm really confused. Human robot. It's like, I don't know. That hurts my brain. But I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Glad to see you here. But yeah, no, Grimlocks seem a little like, yeah, they seem like they were kind of created to just like fill a gap for a specific type of thing that they didn't have a stat block for. You know what I mean? Okay. Oh, what you got here? You know what steeders are. Giant spiders sharing many physical characteristics with their small cousins. Their bodies were covered in fine fur that varied in color. They had 8 powerful legs and large mandibles. So they're like spiders, but not. Covered in fine fur that varied in color. They're rainbow spiders. That's fun. Okay, yeah, we'll use some steeders. Why not? And I'll forget what they are, and I'll have to look it up, and it'll be fun. I'll learn something with my players when the time comes. Male steeder. I'm assuming there's visual differences between what a male and a female looks like. I'm assuming the male is like a spider version of a cardinal, where the males are like brightly colored and the females are more drab colored. Otherwise, why would they make the distinction? You know, maybe there's some size differences between them too. I don't know. Fuck me, I don't know. I'm just riffing here trying to figure it out. I'm trying to explain things away. You know what? We're working in a homebrew world. That's what we're going to decree the differences. So there. Let's find another one. Xvart. Let me look at him again. Xvart. What does it look like? Does that strike me? Those are kind of similar to the Boggles, honestly. Exvarts are cruel, cowardly humanoids spawned by a cowardly renegade demigod. They have blue skin, vivid orange eyes, and receding hairlines, mirroring their creator's appearance. They stand about 3 feet tall. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm just not feeling it. And I think one of the important things when you're trying to create a world is, like, you as the DM, you have to be feeling it. Because if you're not feeling it, you're not going to be able to get your players to care about it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to care about it if your players are going to have a chance to care about it. So that's, I don't know, that's my take on it. Feel free to disagree with me, and we can fight about it. Death Dog. I always love how final that sounds, Death Dog. Okay, let's go ahead and just for the sake of getting something done. Yeah, exactly, fanboys. I appreciate that you agree with me. Mostly because it strokes my ego and not necessarily because it's right or wrong. Giant bat. We'll do some giant bats. It does feel kind of weird to say that, like, this random magical creature is less inspiring to me than a giant bat. I don't know. I've got a vision in mind, and we're trying to stick with that, right? We want, again, like I said at the very beginning of this stream, the whole point of doing these random tables first is to firmly cement down the theme, the thematic basis of what we're creating, right? We're trying to lock down what it feels like to just be walking around in this world. So that way, once we start adding the detailed, campaign missions, the detailed dungeons, the specific things, once we start adding those, it's a lot easier for us to maintain consistency and know what we need to do to create that exact environment and maintain that environment. Let's see, if you want Underdark to be a plain or Swiss cheese, Miso would probably be right at home. Okay, alright, I feel it. If those come up, we'll think about it. Ooh, here we go, more boggles. We'll use boggles. The Kruthic. See, now when I'm thinking about things, because I guess what I'm thinking of, the big thing for me with this Underdark, what I'm thinking of is, if it's going to be an intelligent humanoid, I want it to be Duergar. Because I know I'm going to utilize the Duergar as sort of like the dungeon, like, intelligent enemy, the dungeon-focused intelligent enemy within this particular environment of this world. So everything else, I really want to, like, have it be a monstrosity, like almost a monstrosity, like a Cronenberg approach to monsters, where they're just these, like, hideous, disgusting monsters, utilizing things like giant rats, giant bats as a sort of slow, gradual descent into this, like, nasty horror, human fly type of like 80s rubber suit horror is almost what I'm looking at. So something like a Kruthic feels more at home to me than the Exvarts. Yeah, chokers, yes, those ones are good ones. I dip into that well a lot. For me, that's just my personal aesthetic. I like that type of stuff. Because the thing for me is I don't ever, like, when I'm in the Underdark, I want my players to feel like they're in a place where they just don't belong. And the less human their enemies are, the better. And that's why I love the Duergar as being sort of the intelligent one, because, like, if the players are roleplay heavy especially, then it really gives them the chance to think, like, oh, these things are much closer to us. Maybe they should be our allies under here against these horrible monsters that exist elsewhere within it. But yeah, that's kind of what my aesthetic is. Piercers are good. Yeah, for sure. Fire snakes. Eventually, I eventually want this also to bleed into, like, being fire things. I'm thinking that it would be a cool aesthetic to, like, if they're really delving deep into the mountains, they can get into, like, a Balrog type of environment where there's, like, an existing tear, into the fire plane that's, like, turning what was once just a standard mountain into, like, a volcano or something like that. I haven't decided if that's going to be an actual feature of this world, but it's something that I always think about. And so, like, having a small pocket of, like, fire-based creatures, the deeper into the mountain you go, would be aesthetically cohesive with what I'm trying to make. So that would be good. Have to have a pit fiend running some kind of racket near an opening of the fireplace. Okay, all right, I feel you there. That would actually be a really interesting twist on it, right? Like, an entrance to the fire plane that doesn't focus on, like, it just being a bunch of, like, fire monsters or anything, but rather just, like, the more humanoid, so there's like fire elementals and stuff like that, and they just go in and it like has a very bar at the end of the world type of feel, where there's just a bunch of very strange creatures that have found their little pocket and made a society out of it. That would be fun. That'd be a fun little thing for them to find, and it could just be like, there could be a small handful of side quests for the players or something like that. Like, that would be really funny. I like that idea. I'm gonna shove that in the back pocket, because that would be really funny, and it would be like a good way to add a bit of levity into what is otherwise going to be a very dark, uncomfortable setting. Not uncomfortable as in inappropriate, but just like, I want the players to feel like they just can't rest. You know, I really want that Mines of Moria type of feel, where it's like, even when you're not actively under attack, you're not safe here. You know, that's the kind of atmosphere that I'd prefer to have. So it would be kind of nice to add a sense of like comic relief through them just like, you know, finding side missions for people of the fire plane or something. A Baylor, okay, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I clearly I wasn't really keeping it straight in my head either. So no worries on that. I'm really bad at remembering what monsters are assigned to what titles off the top of my head, which is why I look a lot of things up on D&D Beyond, so I can be like, wait, which one is that one? Keep them straight. As a DM, you tend to work with a lot of different monsters, especially when you're world building a couple different regions at once. So I never keep anything straight. I'm not ashamed of it. I know who I am. All right, so we've got our mediums. Now let's do a couple random hard things. Ooh, a gibbering mouther. Those are good. I just want to pull it up. I just like looking at them. Gibbering mouther. Oh yeah, look at that thing. Oh yeah, that's Cronenberg if I ever saw it. Look at that. Yokel demons. Okay, all right. I'm not super familiar with that. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with those guys. But I'll take your word for it that they'd be cool to use. Demons in general are fun to use. They're really fun for roleplay purposes. Demons and devils alike. Alright, if I ever... So I try to move my microphone out of the way when I'm taking a sip, just that way you guys don't have to listen to, like, the ASMR of me, like, downing a drink. It probably happens. But if I ever move it back and the balance is off, let me know. I'll adjust it. Because I can't actually hear myself through the mic. If I did that, there'd be that delay thing, and it would really confuse me when I'm speaking. And it wouldn't... Like, it might be entertaining for a couple seconds, but in the end, for a full thing, it wouldn't be that great. So let's go ahead and do one of these gibbering mouthers. It's a little earlier than what I would intend for things that bizarre to start showing up. Yeah, sure thing, Human Robot. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you checking it out. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. I hope you enjoyed your time here. But yeah, the gibbering mouther is a little early for what I'd want, but since it's a 1 in 20 chance for them only at level 1. We'll let that happen. We'll let the chance happen. I'm saying there's a chance. Oh, I don't want kobolds. We already discussed the Exvart. The chitin or giant rat. What's the chitin? The chitin. You got to be chitting me. I don't remember that one. Oh! Look at that fucker. Oh, he's like a spider, but not. Ah! Okay, I love him existing, but I want him to show up later. We've already got a really weird one with the gibbering mouther. We've already got a really weird thing showing up there. Let's have this thing be even further in. Oh God, look at it. I can't look away. Oh my God, that's some real. That's a really. That fits the human fly aesthetic for sure. I think that qualifies. Got flumps. Is that a monster here? I don't recognize that. Flump. Look it up. Flump. Oh, look at him. He's kind of cute. He's kind of cute. I haven't used these guys ever. Through the Underdark propel. These guys would be fun to use. Let's see. Yeah, intelligent and wise. This would be really fun to have. this would be a really fun one to have as like a potential NPC encounter, which I also include as parts of my random tables. This would be really fun for them to just sort of like cross paths with these guys, and it would be up to them to try and decide how to approach it. Like the thing would just kind of be like floating down, maybe mumbling to itself, and they can decide how they introduce themselves to it. That would be a fun one. He's so cute though. I like him. I'm into it. To live alongside the Durgars? Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I like it. I almost like the idea of it just being like there's one or two of them that exist in the mountains that just kind of float around, right? They're displaced, and they just kind of go about and do their thing, and no one really understands them. Like a very Tom Bombadil type of character, where it's like no one really understands why they're there, what their motivations are. He's just around doing his thing. I like him. 7. Okay, let's do 7 giant rats and a partridge in a pear tree. Haven't made that joke on the stream before. Write some new material, you jag. Just like how I heckle myself. Giant lizard isn't quite what I'm going for. Let me look at the Darrows. Let me see. Do they spark joy? Yeah, that's a little too humanoid for what I'm going for. Stay around areas of high psychic energy. Yeah, I mean, that could definitely be something, and that would make a lot like that. That would certainly be something that could exist within my world, given the nature of there just being a lot of tears and between the realms and everything like that. There could easily be one that's causing a lot of like psychic types of magical radiation, because it's like that's the big thing about my world is there's, like I say, it's kind of post-apocalyptic, so I almost try to have it be like a D&D version of like, Chernobyl or whatever. When you're wandering around, like there's just pockets of radiation that make things all kinds of weird and uncomfortable and unexpected. So that'd be good, but yeah, I don't know, I'm not feeling the Darrows. They're just not quite what I'm looking for here. Fire Newt Warrior. Again, I'd be on board with that, but it's a little too soon. Giant Bat. I mean, okay, how many giant bats would it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? It would take 5. 5 giant bats. Okay, we'll do 5 giant bats. It's a little dull for a deadly encounter, but we're talking about level 1 here. I don't want to overwhelm them with all the exciting stuff at level 1. You want to ramp up to these things. You don't want to give them all the fun stuff early on. You want them to earn it. At least I do. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm a jerk. I don't know. All right, so there's our level 1 encounters. We got 10 of them figured out there. So let's go ahead and go on to our level 2 encounters. And the process goes on. Oh, Grimlock. Yeah, no. Xvart. No. Rats. How many rats would it take? 10 rats, why not? It would be easy for you and 5 of your friends to kill 10 rats. Nyogi, okay, alright, that's not bad. Let's see, 10 rat. I just kind of want to look at him. Yogi. Yeah, these guys are cool. These guys would definitely fit. I like using that. They also show up in the desert according to the lore, don't they? Or am I thinking of something different? Does it say environment? Hill. Yeah, hill. Okay, that's what it is. Hill is such a random one to couple with Underdark as being the two. What were the things I was thinking of showed up in desert? Maybe it was the Kruthix or something? I don't know. There's something that's kind of like that, kind of like scorpion spiderish that can show up in deserts too that I always like. I like things like, I'm with you, I like things that have like blade hands. 3 Kreen, that's what I'm thinking of. Thank you. Yes, 100%. 100%, that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, I like the things that have like blade limbs and blade hands and stuff. Just because I love the concept of it's like there does not exist a safe place around these things, because like even from like a combat stand-up point of view, where it's like, oh, if you stand in close, so that way they can't use their power for their melee attacks and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, but he doesn't need power. His hands are blades. He can just kind of like brush you, and you're like, you're diced. Okay, well, we've got rats, so why not have some giant rats? It would be easy for you and 4 of your friends to kill 5 giant rats. One of my favorite thought experiments. just like taking the difficulty level and applying that to what you and just some of your drinking buddies would be able to handle in real life. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Classic joke that I never tell, and definitely haven't beaten that dead horse. Giant centipede. I'm on board with that. I'll fuck with it. I'll fuck with the giant centipede. 3 giant centipedes. Yes, I think I am going to go with that, fanboy. But I'm going to stick with the idea of things getting more planar and more weird at higher levels, and just sort of design the dungeons and the missions that happen under there so that the higher level they get, the deeper into the mountains they explore. So it's like you have to get deep into it. So like levels 1 through 3 or 4, I want to stick with just like big versions of normal things and have it like descend from there into just like weirder and nastier and more horrifying things is what I think I'm going to go for. I think I'm going to kind of railroad it a little bit that way. Centipede. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think that's the aesthetic that I'm feeling. I'm feeling it. So we're going to go with it. Hey, there's your flump. There's your flump. I'm going to save them, though. I'm going to save them. Darklings. Okay. All right. Not bad. Let me see it. Let me look at them. Sometimes that's the thing too. Even when I've got like a mental image of something, like sometimes I gotta see it to just like understand. I do tend to be a pretty visual person, so it's like the chance to actually look at it makes a big difference for me in trying to decide if something fits. So let's try the Darkling. What are these fuckers like? Yeah. They would be fun. We could do, let's see, Fey Dark, pretty cool concept. Yeah. I agree with you. It's a really cool aesthetic. You know what I'm thinking? The Darklings. And here's the thing. Here's the challenge with it. I gotta not overcrowd the area because this is only one portion of 4 different regions, and I don't want to overcrowd this campaign with too much stuff since it's meant to be levels 1 through 10. So what I need is, because what I immediately think is it would be kind of cool if we have Duergar and Darklings existing, and as humanoids have them be like 2 sort of warring factions that they're now warring for control of this Underdark, under the mountains region. They're sort of warring over control over the abandoned dwarven homesteads, you know? Excuse me. And so it would be fun to do that, but my concern is that because I'm trying to build a campaign that limits itself to 10 player levels, I'm worried that that's bigger than what I have room for in this campaign, if that makes sense. Because I agree with you, fanboy. I think Fey Dark versus Duergar would be really interesting, but I almost think that would be fun to sort of put in the back pocket for a later campaign that maybe takes place like in this hex, where it's really heavily mountains and there's not going to be quite as much variety and stuff, so that we need a lot more going on in just like our Underdark realm, if that makes sense. Because like I say, I don't want to overload it. I don't want to use up every cool idea in just one region, you know, because I've got an entire world worth of regions to work with, you know, and I like that. I like that each campaign would be a different thing, because if you imagine any given campaign with your friends, if you play consistently, taking, 2 years or so, for a 10 level campaign, taking 2 years just because we're all busy people that have lives, so we don't get to play as often as we'd like. So if it's like a campaign lasts 2 to 3 years, that seems like a long time. So it's like, oh, use everything. But the flip side of it is, if I'm playing with my buddies, we every 3 years, if we play D&D as a group of friends, because as adults, it's not like we're gonna like all disappear to school, every summer or something like that. So it's like, you want to plan ahead, almost in the sense of if we play D&D as friends for 20 years, that's like 6 or 7 campaigns. So you don't want to use up everything. You know what I mean? Facts on Morgan. What I want to immediately focus on horrors of the Underdark for the tier 1 adventures. So I guess here's what I'm thinking about in terms of like tier 1 adventures and stuff like that. So if I'm thinking about, and again, I haven't given a whole lot of thought to the campaign mission structure quite yet. I'm still trying to just understand exactly what the themes of this area are. But if I'm thinking about it, the immediate mission, the reason for the players existing is down here in the plains. The reason the players are around here is because they're going to, like, the sort of ham-fisted reason they exist is because they're part of this crew that is trying to establish a trade route from this city down to this city. Because these two cities right now are pretty detached from each other, and trade has to go through this route all the way around here. So it adds weeks, maybe months to a trade route. So that's the campaign that we're working with. So when I'm thinking about, just sort of off the top of my head right now, when I'm thinking about missions, I'm thinking about, realistically, I don't imagine that they'll do much in the mountains until a few levels deep when they've encountered some stuff that might draw them away from here. Because the idea is going to be there's some sort of barrier stopping this from going forth, and that's going to just it's going to be probably like a chain of like, oh, well, this is a problem because of this, but that's a problem because of that, and that's what's going to lead them throughout this region and give them various ideas about what they want to do, utilizing also the power of yes and to sort of like, if they latch on to one cause, let that just be the cause and let them explore that. But realistically speaking, I don't envision them going into the mountains until a few levels in. I'm making the level 1 in case they go rogue and go sandbox on me. They're like, well, we don't want to do that. We want to go explore the mountains. And so it's like, I'm prepared for it. And they can just go into the mountains if that's what they want. Plus, then also, if I'm going to share this campaign, then people can, start and sort of modify things, and they'll have those random tables at any level that's there. But yeah, I'm thinking the Underdark stuff is going to be further into the campaign for players, all things considered. I guess that's where my mindset is on it. Is like, that's the type of stuff they'll encounter that because because I know that I want to do it so that there's a dragon who has this territory kind of locked down. So maybe if they have to deal with the dragon, they'll go over here, but maybe they decide to communicate and make peace with the dragon, and the dragon's like, well, I will allow you guys to do this if you help clear up some of these areas to expand my dominion, or something like that. So then they do stuff in the Underdark, in the mountains, in the forest over here, sort of like chaining things together that way, is where my mindset is for it. So I guess that's what I'm thinking with it, but I haven't really, like I said, I haven't finalized any thoughts in my head about it. It's all about one step at a time with me. And so right now we're just trying to understand what the aesthetic of our regions will be, so then we can build some missions that will make sense and incorporate bosses that are sensible and fit the themes of the area as they've been created, if that makes sense. I don't know. That was kind of a long ramble. I don't know if I answered your question there. But that's sort of where my head is at right now when I'm going about these things and thinking about what future missions will look like. And so that kind of, maybe that offers a bit of information too about why I'm choosing what monsters I am. Because early on, with these ones, ultimately it doesn't really matter, and then going later on, it'll be a lot of horrors. And so for a tier 1 mission, for the missions at any tier, however you want to organize them or think about them, the missions, I like the idea of Duergar being there. And so if there's any thought that I put into campaign missions in the Underdark, it's kind of like that whatever dragon is holding dominion over this region is probably not a super big fan of the Duergar being in the mountains, but the dragon that I'm playing with is more interested in the plains, so probably more of like a gold dragon or something like that, that kind of lives at the foothills of the mountains and wants the mountains to be under its control, but isn't interested in going into the underground. So it might hire the players, if that's the route they take, to help clear out those tunnels and stuff like that, and take care of his little Duergar infestation. Is sort of what I'm thinking, and that's why I'm thinking, as much as I like these ideas, and I like the idea of Duergar warring with these guys, I think it would fit better in a different campaign than the one that I'm working on right now. Just because the one that I'm working on right now, within all of this region, we've got so much other stuff going on, and so many other strings to tie together in a web, that might be a little too much. And really what that'll end up doing is it'll end up making either those missions feel too thin because we don't have much space for all of that, or they would be too distracting from everything else that's going on and it just wouldn't feel cohesive. It would feel like when you've got a show that they just like they want to capitalize and make a new season, but it doesn't really fit with what the first 3 seasons were doing with the show. You know, like that's what my concern is. That's what my concern is. Doesn't mean it would play out that way, and it doesn't mean that we won't ultimately go back to that kind of idea. But that's where my head's at right now. You know, as I'm just trying to think about planning and understanding this region. That's where I'm at. So, like I say, I don't know if I answered your questions. That was a hell of a ramble that I just don't know if I don't know if that's what you're getting at all. But you know, take it or leave it. that's what I had to offer there. And back to it, giant wolf spiders for sure. That starts easing us into the horrors theme here. Giant wolf spitter. Spider. God. Spider. Oh my god. My fingers are just not. I guess we're done typing. My fingers are just not willing to type the word spider. I should probably be embarrassed, but mostly I'm just annoyed with myself. Brass Dragon Vargwheel? I never know how to pronounce that. Let me look at him. Vargwheel? Is that how it's spelled? Damn it. Fucking, what am I looking at? Vargawile. There we go. Oh yeah, the little heads of bat wings. That's a good way to ease into it. I like that. We can work with that. Let's throw those in there. Brass Dragon Wormling. Yeah, I'm not thinking any underground dragons for this Underdark. I'm thinking of the dragons that live in that area are going to be much more above ground dragons. So that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling here. Oh, 2 of those are a medium. That's perfect. 2 Vargawil. Yeah, there we go. Of course it would be underlined red. That's not a real word. It's a made-up thing. Completely made-up thing. We need 1, 2. We need 2 more mediums. Alright, let's see here. Now let's go with Quagga Spore Servant. Let's take a look. Quagga. Let's search Quagga. What do any of these guys look like? That's not bad. Kind of werewolf looking. What does the spore servant look like? Oh, it's not gonna give us one. No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Let's move on. Maybe I'll come back to him. Ghast. A ghast would be a good one. 2 of them would be deadly though. Let's go ahead and do that. 2 ghast. I like the idea of the ghasts. I think those will be a good fit. Let's see here. Let's try medium again. No. Darrow, Grimlock, no. Sacred Stone Monk. Swarm of Insects. That'd be kind of a fun one. Just like an underground, like swarm of bugs and crap attacking them. That'd be good. There's something horrific in that concept, right? 3 swarm of insects, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Okay, 1 more medium. Okay, what's the gazer? What's the gazer? I forget what the gazer looks like. Gazer. Let's see here. Okay, it's kind of like almost like a little baby of fucking, what the fuck are they called? I'm blanking on him. the fucking floaty things with the eye stalks. I don't know, fucking whatever. Beholder. There it is. It's like a baby beholder. Manifestation of a beholder's dreams. Resembles the beholder who dreamed it into existence. But its body is only 8 inches wide and it has only 4 eye stalks. It follows its creator like a devoted, aggressive puppy, and sometimes small packs of these creatures patrol their master's lair for vermin to kill and lone creatures to harass. It's kind of amusing. I'm not feeling it, but it's amusing. Dark Mantle Gas Spore. Hold on. Dark Mantle I'm not feeling, but let's do the Gas Spore. No, not Gas Spore. God damn it. Gas Spore. Give us an image. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. That would be perfect. That's perfect. I like that. That'll work. Can work with that. 3 gas spore. No, only 1 P. God, this freaking spore. This freaking finger of mine that never does anything right. Alright, Myconid Adult. Let's take a peek and see if they inspire me. Myconid. Just do the Myconid. Yeah, I guess I could see those things wandering around. That's not bad. Yeah, so 4 of them would be hard. 4 Myconid Adult. Alright, and then we do one more hard one. Chitin. Let's see. Yeah, I want to save the chitins for a little bit longer. Grell, I don't know. Let me see if they inspire anything when I look at them, but very beholder-like. You know what they look like? They look kind of like the Hanar from Mass Effect, just with a beak. Oh, I don't know. I guess no. I guess the fact that I'm hemming and hawing over it is exactly what tells me. Oh, there's our chokers. Who was it that mentioned the choker? Was it Fanboy? I don't remember who mentioned the choker, but there we go. For the choker. Yeah, like a choker would be good. That would be really good. Let's see here. I'm just worried though, like that might be a little. You know what? It's a 1 in 10. Okay, we'll go with the choker. We'll go with the choker. Okay, how many would it take to be hard? Oh, never mind. You can't get the proper balance out of it, then it's not worth it. Piercer. Am I feeling the Piercer? This little worm-like guys? Yeah, I'm feeling it. That's good. Pretty innocuous, all things considered. They just kind of like slither around doing their thing. Yeah. All right. We'll do 4 piercers. 4 piercer. Wow, my gosh, this P key, man. I'm telling you, man. It just has a mind of its own. Sorry. Like I say, I'm trying to coordinate a possible D&D session tonight with my players. So I have to be on the ball with that to make sure that I don't miss any questions I have. Because if I don't answer quickly enough, they're liable to make different plans. Like a bunch of bumholes. No, it's not. I don't mean to say that. I don't mean that about my friends. My friends are good friends. I appreciate them. Summers are just busy for all of us. All right. So there's our level 2 stuff. So let's try some level 3 stuff. Let's do it. Let's do some level 3 stuff. Fire Newts, Flump. Fire Newt Warrior. It might be... Level 3 might be okay. Let's see here. Fire Newt. Let's just look and see what these guys look like. Yeah, we could start having them. I don't know. I feel like they would fit a bit better a little bit later, a little bit deeper into the mountains. I don't think we're quite there at level 3. I think a drow, interesting. Because I think we're gonna have the drow be present up here. I'm thinking having some drow up here would be good, just like with some Durgar there. Another reason to avoid doing the Darklings in this particular region, because if there's going to be a war between the Durgar and anyone else, then the Durgar and the drow would be an appreciable place, and like this is the battle line right there. And so it's up to the players to try and figure out how to handle that situation, if they're going to handle that situation. Although I'm thinking less of a war and more of a just like there are border tensions, as one might expect. But I don't know. So no drow, but we can work with some giant rats. It's been a minute since we added some giant rats to all of this, so let's go ahead and, excuse me, 7 giant rat. We'll do that. Because they'll naturally start. Ooh, troglodytes would be good. Show off the troglodytes. Troglodyte? Is that it? Yeah, troglodyte. Young Kruthix. Yeah, young Kruthix. I love the Kruthix. Troglodytes are good. Actually, you know what? I feel like I would save the troglodytes for a cave system that had a lot of lizards. Is what I would do. Yeah, I feel like this one's kind of turning more rat, bat, and spider heavy. And I've been avoiding the lizards, so I feel like the troglodytes would do better in a place that's lizard, because they just, I mean, look at those guys. It's pretty clearly a lizard that's been turned human, or a human that's been turned lizard. I mean, look at it. Just look at it. So that would be a better fit for something. It's almost like a were lizard or something. something weird and goofy that way. But zombies wouldn't be terrible, but I'm kind of avoiding the zombie aesthetic here. I use the zombie aesthetic quite often in other places, and I don't want to always do the same things. I don't want to always fall on the same tools. We've already established that male steeders are around, so we'll go ahead and do that. Get another easy one. Boggle, we've already established that boggles are around. 2 boggles. Oh wait, hold up. No, wait, there's probably gonna be more boggles. What am I doing? Yeah, 7. I mean, we are talking about an easy combat, but we don't want it to be too easy now. I mean, come on. Otherwise, players would just like, if it's too easy, players feel like you're just wasting their time. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful when making things easy. You don't want it to be too easy, but you don't want it to be too hard either. You really want to Goldilocks that shit and get it just right. Like, it's worth the effort. Worth the effort. A violet fungus. I don't know. Well, you know, we've established that because we've got the myconids. We could throw in some fungi and stuff like that. Why not? Why not? That kind of eases us in towards the concept of monstrosity type of beings in here. Violet fungus. Fungus. Alright. So those are easies. Let's do a medium. Fire newt. Again, fire newts. I want to use fire newts. I think I'm going to use fire newts, but I think we're going to say that for just a little bit deeper into things. So instead, let's just have them deal with it. As I like to describe it, when it's like a plague of something or too many of something, a Moses of insects. Swarm of insects. Shriekers are good. Shriekers are good. How's it going, John? Glad to see you here. Let's see. Yeah, Shrieker wouldn't be bad. I like looking. Look at him. Let's look at him. Shrieker. I'm a notorious. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm a terrible speller. Yeah, look at those guys. Like they just kind of hide. You can almost have them describe them as hiding as like I mean, they are mushrooms. So you can just have them hiding among like, you know, the violet fungi or something like that. That'd be good. That wouldn't be bad. Yeah, we'll see if they pop up. It'd be fun. Not just to fuck with players. Okay, let's get ourselves another medium here. Oblex spawn. Oblex. I feel like Oblex is a bit more industrial than what I'm looking for in here. Like I said, we're kind of going with more of like a natural monstrosity type of thing. I feel like that's just got a more industrial essence to it than what I'm going for. So we're gonna, it's gonna be a no for me though. None of those. Giant Striders, Myconid Adults. I'm gonna do the Myconid Adults. I want to start adding them in a bit more, especially if we're gonna talk about getting some Shriekers going in there too. 4 mediums. 4 would be medium. 4 Myconid adults. We need 1 more medium. 1 more magic. One-eyed shiver. I just like the idea of it being called a one-eyed shiver. One-eyed shiver. Like, I just like that idea. It's like it just sounds like some asshole in prison. We call him One-Eyed Shiver. He's added 10 years to his sentence because he just can't stop shivering people. He's made it a personality trait. No one likes him. I like the specification of it being one-eyed too. Like that it's such a common thing, you know, like the implication that there's a lot of people that do this, and so they have to have their own classification. They're the one-eyed shivers. Or like maybe it sounds like a biker gang or something, I don't know. He looks like he'd be part of a biker gang, right? I don't know. Anyway. No, not orcs. Piercer. Did we decide to use piercers? We did decide to use piercers. Why not? Let's add some piercers. Oh yeah, that would be medium. 4. 4 piercer. 4 piercer. Okay. Let's see. Now let's do hard ones. Now, okay, we're getting hard now. Yes, that's what's happening. Deep Gnome. Not feeling it. Level 3, I'd let us introduce the Duergar into the mix now. Let's do that. Let's do it. How many would be hard? 3 Duergar would be hard. Let's do it. Duergar. Especially since it's only a 1 in 20 chance at level 3 that they would encounter. We'll start having the possibility of them encountering our Duergar. And then Myconid Adults. Yeah, why not? We'll go ahead and have a few more of them. 6 Myconid Adults. 6x Myconid Adult. Alright. Let's do Rando Deadly now. How many swarms of insects would it take to turn this into a deadly situation? 8! I'm gonna do it. Why not? My favorite description: a Moses of insects. Oops. Wait, hold on. We need 8x. 8. A plague of insects. Swarm of insects. Boom. There we go. I like it. I don't know why I still have this open. We don't need to look at all that right now. We can just look at more of our stuff. Apologize for that, yawn. Okay, yeah, so that's our level 3s. Let's do our level 4s now. Now we need some easy level 4s. Gas Spore, Winged Kobold. We'll do some Gas Spores. Why not? How many would be easy? 4. Yeah, that's a good number. 4 Gas Spore. Spore. There it is. Building a food chain. You know, it kind of, Omega, it does kind of end up feeling like you kind of structure a food chain. Like, if you accept the fact that bigger, badder, more dangerous things are more likely to eat the less startling things that exist around in these areas, it kind of does end up feeling that way, especially the way I'm doing my world, where things are much more sort of like creature monstrosity based as opposed to humanoid based. It does kind of feel like that way. That's a pretty good description of it. Truthfully, I've never really thought about it explicitly like that, but you're right. It does kind of feel that way, and I think that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun for players to, like, again, like I like creating a world that feels alive regardless of what the players are doing. I don't like to design a campaign world that feels overtly designed for the players, right? I don't want them to feel like they have plot armor, you know, just by virtue of them being the heroes of whatever story they're a part of. I prefer to make it so that the world feels like it's doing its thing, and it's up to the players to sort of find or force their place into it. You know, so the fact that it would feel like there's like an existing hierarchy or food chain in the world, I think is perfect, because then it's up to the players to try and figure out where do they belong in that. Like, are they top dog, or are they subject to a lot of nasty potentialities? You know, I kind of dig it that way. Minotaur, no, absolutely not part of what I'm trying to go for here. Yeah, piercers, why not? Let's do the piercers. I don't know if a swarm of bats would, I don't know how many it would take, but I don't know if it would make sense for that many bats to be present even for an easy battle. Okay, 4 piercer. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Giant scorpion, no, not at all, absolutely not. Boggle or death dog. What does the death dog look like? Does that look too wild and out there for at this stage? Death dog. Death dog. Death dog. Just a two-headed dog. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Because I'd eventually like there to be like some sort of fire dog or something like that. So, yeah, let's do the death dog. 3 death dogs. Boom. All right, let's get some medium stuff going on here. Some mediums. All right. Hold on, I gotta check something real quick here. Okay. All right. Sorry, I had to check something on my stream manager there. All right. Choker. Yeah, we talked about adding the chokers in there, and I like it. I like it. Let's go ahead and add a choker in there. It's a good horror film-esque thing, especially getting up to the mediums. 4 chokers. Although I do like the idea of a choker just being a title they give to a certain type of person. Like there's just like a guild of people that just like to go around choking people. And it's like, ah, fuck, he's one of those chokers. Don't let him near you. He'll try and choke you. No, I promise I won't do it this time. Ah, I got you. Like what a lame supervillain that would be. Sounds like a bad Bond villain. How many giant bats? Yeah, why not? Make them face 10 giant bats. That'd be kind of funny. Gas Spore, Quaggoth Spore Servant. Duergar. Alright, yeah. We've already talked about Duergar showing up. Let's do it. Let's add some Duergar in here. Let's do it. Do it. This is still one of our mediums, yeah. So 4 Duergar. Duergar. Duer what now? Ha ha ha. Funny. Random heart. Flail snail. Ooh, flail snails are fun. I like flail snails just because they seem so innocent, like a giant snail, and then they like start fucking you up. I'm gonna do it just because I think it'd be funny. 2 flail snails are hard. That's perfect. Snail. Oh, look at the little guys. Ow! Damn it. Okay, all right. Getting up to level 4, I'm ready to start throwing in some of the chitines there, however you pronounce them. Now I'm ready to start throwing them in there. I felt like it was a little early, given just how disgusting they are, like aesthetically speaking. So there's not a whole lot of time left to use them in terms of difficulty as we're moving up in the levels. But I don't know. I do want them to possibly make an appearance. I just didn't want it to happen like when they're at level 1. I feel like that'd be a little much for them. You know what I mean? Giant Strider. Giant Striders are like basically just giant spiders, right? Oh wait, no. Giant Striders. Those are... Yeah, those are the ostrich things. Those are the ostrich things. I don't know what I was thinking of. I was thinking of the Steeder. No, definitely no Striders in this one. Definitely not happening. Not happening. Trapper. What are we in? Pancake, Quaggoth Spore Servant, White Dragon. No. Druid, Vargwheel. Vargwheel? Yeah, we added the Vargwheels in there. We can add some of them in there. Oh, but it needs to be deadly, though. Okay, hold on. Let's just see if we get better options. Oh, the measles. We had talked about the measles. Let me take a look at them again. Wait, was it measle or measle? Maisel. Maisel. She's a refined lady. Yeah, these little guys. They look a lot like the chitines. So I'm on board with the measles. Let's do that. This cave has a case of the measles. 7 would be deadly. Yeah, let's do it. Maze. Boom. Okay. Let's see. Let's do our level 5s. So here's what's gonna happen. So I mentioned it at the beginning, but we probably had some different people coming and going. I'm trying a new schedule starting today, where I'll be streaming for up to, work day job schedule allowing. I'll be streaming up to 4 hours on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, splitting the time halfway between gaming and writing. Here is what I want to try and do, because I'm not going to be able to have time to do anything on Wednesdays anymore. And that's just because my work schedule is there. Or at least as of right now, that's what it is. My work schedule is kind of in flux right now, as my office is hemming and hawing over what they're going to require from us in terms of continuing to work from home after COVID and all that stuff. So things are in flux, but we're trying that schedule today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have us get through our level 5 random encounters, right? We're going to do that, chit-chat about that. I am going to take then a short break, and then I'm going to be right back to do some gaming. We're gonna continue on with our Mass Effect 2 playthrough that we're doing. And the idea is I will be doing it that way 4 days a week, and then possibly also Saturdays, schedule allowing. So it'll result in more of both of them, and doing them each day. So if you are interested and still like hanging out and chit-chatting all kinds of different stuff, then stick around or come back in like 10-15 minutes once we finish this up. If you're really only here for the writing, I'm not offended by that. I have fun with it regardless of what crowd is here. I enjoy it, so I will not be offended if you've got specific content you're interested in for me producing stuff. By all means, do stick around for what you're interested in and ditch the rest of it. I will not be upset by that. But that's what's going to happen. So we're going to finish our level 5s, and then I'm going to take myself a bit of a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do some Mass Effect. I know I said 2 hours of each of them. It's only been like an hour and a half, but I got a late start today because of work. Go figure. That's the other thing about it too, is always my day job has to take precedence. So if I ever have to end early, them's the breaks. But that's what my schedule allows, and I want to keep doing streaming of both. But I think actually in the end it'll end up with me doing more streaming of both types, because I'm doing double up of the streams 4 days a week, as opposed to doing only one of them 2 or 3 days a week, depending on what day of the week it is. So at any rate, that's what's probably going to happen. So let's get our level 5s, and then y'all can decide what you want to do here. But let's see here. So we've already established the gibbering mouthers could be around. Let's go ahead and do those. I like the gibbering mouthers. I like the idea of the gibbering mouthers existing, just because they look like just a complete and utter pile of flesh of stuff that got messed up based on all of this magical radiation that exists. I love that. I think it's hilarious. I think it's a great aesthetic. Giant centipedes, I don't know. We're starting to get to the point now where I actually want to lay into doing all of the really weird shit. So let's do 2 Myconid Sovereign. There we go. What other easies we got? Ooh, Ettercaps. Ettercaps would be good. Those kind of fit alongside the chitines and stuff like that. Having Ettercaps around, so I like that. Let's do an Ettercap or 2 Ettercaps. 2. Yeah, this is kind of turning into a very like spider and spider being heavy area, and I'm okay with that actually. Ooh, Ghast. A Ghast is a good one for a cave. 2 Ghast. Alright, let's get our mediums going here. Okay, we got the Kruthix. Yeah, I'm gonna throw. Ooh, wait a minute, and then there's the Durgar. Let's throw the. Well, we can. There's no reason that I can't do both of them, honestly. So let's just do some regular Durgar for the easy. Oh wait, we're supposed to be doing the medium. Well, let's do some regular Durgar for the medium. 7 Durgar, just because it would be hard to make a difficult or a hard one with the low-level Duragars there, and then we can start adding the others in. Random medium again. Giant spider. No. Myconid sovereign. Let's find. No. No. Oh, hook horrors are good. Oh, just look at these guys. If you're not familiar with hook horrors, these guys are real freaky deaky. I like the hook horrors. They're like moles with wings and claws. Oh, I love their aesthetic. I actually am not feeling them for this area, but I love hook horrors. I think they're such cool creatures. Gazer. What was the gazer like? Gazer. Is that kind of what I'm looking for here? Oh, that's right. That's right. I was thinking of something different. Gazers. No, I don't feel like doing the gazers. I'm not feeling like doing the beholders in this particular region of cave areas. I like beholders, but it's just not the aesthetic I'm going for here. Let's do the Durgar Mind Masters. Let's do them. How many would be a medium? There we go. 3 Durgar Mind Masters. Let's do that. Durgar Mind Master. Alright, and then we need one more medium here. Ooh, a swarm of rock grubs. That's pretty nasty. Alright, hold on. Can we fit a medium in, though? Can do 10. Why not? Let's do 10. Let's do 10. 10 swarms of rock grubs. Just like a room. Imagine that. Just like a room in the cavern. That there's just the floor is a pit of the rock grubs. And so it becomes a matter of trying to find a way to effectively kill all of them. Or accepting the damage as you try to just get past them. You know? I like that. I like that. Let's do it. A Moses of rock grubs. That's how many are there. Swarm of rock grubs. Like an absolute apocalypse. An absolute plague of rock grubs. Alright, let's go with hard. I hope you guys... I know everyone comes here for the blasphemy more than anything else. That's why I make those jokes. I like to make people question, like, should I be offended? I don't know. Ooh, Duergar Screamers. That'd be a good one. Let's do it. Anytime there's a title of something that's a screamer in a cave, like, that's good. That's good. And insert joke about your mother being a screamer. Someone who's more clever than me at this moment can come up with an actual punchline for it. But the opening is there. It's been presented. It's been presented. All right, random hard. Hook horror. Grell. No. Not feeling it. Eternal Flame Priest. Not quite. Mind Flayer Arcanist. No. Come on. Give me something I'm looking for. Read my brain. Okay, Adult Kruthic. Yeah, we'll work with those. I love the Kruthics. I think they're great. We need a hard one. 5 Adult Kruthics. God, can you imagine 5 of those things coming after you? It's perfect. Adult Kruthic. Whoops. Alright, and now we'll just come up with a deadly thing here. Oblex, a young white dragon. Durgar. No, we're not going to do Durgar. It'd take too many. Mind Witness? Mind Witness? Why am I blanking on that? Mind Witness. What do these assholes look like? Ooh, that looks like an eye version of a gibbering mouther. That's what that looks like. The beholder can be stunned and brought safely to the brine pool of the elder brain. It can be converted. Ooh, they're weird. I think I'm gonna stay away from those just because they're getting very beholder-esque, and and I'm specifically trying to stay away from those. But ooh. The Neogis. We talked about those earlier. Babao? What do those look like? Babao. Oh, look at that guy. Oh, he's nasty. He's nasty. Oh, wait. What you got, Prince John? What you got? Oh, the tentacle thing? That was the, fuck, what was it called? I don't remember. Okay, well, wait, hold up. We can just go back. The Mind Witness. Is that the one you were talking about? God, look at this guy, though. Holy shit, I love him. Like, not like as in like, oh, he's so cute, but I love him as in like, oh, what a creepy thing. The Mind Witness, it was like, if you take, it was like if a beholder, the official lore was if a beholder can be subdued and brought back to like the brine pools of the elder brain or something like that, they can be converted into one of those. They're really weird, and they're cool, but not quite the aesthetic I'm looking for here. I'm thinking the Babbo is more what I'm looking for here. How many Babbos does it take to kill a group of people? That's a little high on our XP for it, but it's meant to be deadly. So let's do it. 3 Babbo. Like, I could see players traveling through the Underdark and coming across 3 of them that are like fighting over a body for a Duergar or something like that. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, cool. There we go. That's halfway through our enemies there, and considering all the different conversations about different aesthetics and all that kind of stuff, I'd say that's pretty good. That's some pretty good progress. So yeah, like I say, I'm going to take myself just a bit of like maybe like a 10-minute break, rest my voice a minute, and then I'm gonna be back and we're gonna swap over and we're gonna do the video game stream. So we're gonna do some Mass Effect. I'm working on Mass Effect 2. That's the game that I'm playing. So anyone who wants to either stick around, I'm just for the sake of the VODs, I'm gonna end the stream and then we'll just pick it back up in like 10 minutes when it's time to start Mass Effect 2. That's what's gonna happen. So I will be back shortly to keep doing that. We're trying the new schedule and just doing some back-to-back streams 4 days a week as opposed to alternating between and just doing one stream at a time. But yeah, so that's what's gonna happen. So I will be back even though I'm ending the stream. Like I say, that's for VOD purposes. It's just easier that way because then Twitch itself does the cutting and I don't have to, ass around with remembering timestamps for editing videos and shit like that because I ain't got time for that. So that's what's gonna happen. So either stick around or, if you're here for the writing, like I say, if you're only here for the writing, I'm 100% fine with that. I'm not going to be offended if you don't stick around for, Mass Effect. But if you want to stick around and chat about stuff, I'm here. Same me, just different stuff happening on the screen. That's what's going to happen. So thank you for joining me for the writing. This was fun. It's been real. If you're sticking around, we'll see you in a bit. If you're not sticking around, then fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. If you're not sticking around, that's totally fine. I appreciate that you were here at all in the first place. If you are taking off, just a note for those people. If you like talking about the homebrew stuff, if you want to extend conversations beyond when I'm doing the writing streams, I have tried to put together a Discord channel. I don't know if I did it right, but you can find the link on my channel. On my channel page, so feel free to go to that. I think I set it up right so that anyone can go in there and then ask to get verified so then you can participate in all of the chats. If I did it wrong, let me know and I'll try and figure out what the hell I did wrong because I don't understand Discord at all. But I tried. So that's there if you're taking off. But yeah, I guess I'll stop babbling. I'm going to take a break. Looking at it, it looks like 10 minutes will be about quarter to the hour. Whatever your local hour is. For me, it's 1:35 right now, so I'll be back at around 1:45 is the intent. So, thank you for joining me for the writing. Sit tight if you're going to stick around, and we will see you shortly. But yeah, for now, bye. Bye. I'll see you in a minute. Get out of here, or stick around. I don't know. Bye.